Alright boys, good evening. We finally have some patch notes here to go through, so let me just crack my knuckles and we'll jump right into this bad boy. This thing is a laundry list of fixes, and I've gone through it before recording this video to just highlight the things that I think are the most important fixes that they've made in this patch. If you want to know absolutely everything, be sure to actually check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. There is so much on here. If I were to just read it out and go over every point, this would be like a 2.5-hour video. So starting off, one of the things that caught my eye was the balances to the Thunder Hammer. They're making some increases to the damage on this one against certain armor types, that being Flak and Carabas. Actually, those are the only armor types in the game. Never mind, but they're buffing the damage on this one. I'm not too sure how much this is going to actually translate to. I heard that last time that they implemented this, before taking it straight back out, it did increase the damage by quite a bit. So here's hoping that the Thunder Hammer is a little bit more usable, but it's not going to fix the main problem with this weapon, which is the animation lock from using the special, and it's just not so fancy light attack pattern. Moving on from that, they fixed the Ogren's ultimate. It's supposed to give a attack speed buff after executing it. However, that was only working for the cleavers. It's now noted as working for all weapons, which is actually huge because the 25% attack speed buff is massive and feels really, really good to use. Moving on, they've normalized all of the peril costs for the staffs for the Psyker. I don't know if this means that they nerfed every staff and kept the trauma the same, or buffed the trauma. I'll have to do some testing before actually knowing that one for sure. It's very late for me. I've not had a chance to jump into the game and actually test this. If you actually know, let everyone know down in the comments below, and saves me the effort. Much appreciated. Kisses. And then after that, we have the Purg staff as well as the actual flamers having their left click fixed, though before sometimes it wouldn't actually apply any damage or burn if you were moving around too quickly or cancelled the action in some way. They've made the change so that doesn't happen, so I'm looking forward to trying that because I actually used the flame staff an awful lot myself. They've also fixed the issue where some of the tactical axes were not effectively pushing poxbusters. Now there's actually a bug in the game right now where most, if not all, weapons can sometimes just not push the boxburster, which is really annoying because I often try and push them and I just eat damage when it doesn't work. So here's hoping that they get that fixed in its entirety. I think this is a right step to fixing that issue anyways. This next one is actually huge for me because I've been loving the Hellball las guns of late, and what it is that they're changing how the shoot action is triggered, and this is supposed to be making the way that the charge shots can be chained a little bit more consistent, because it's been having an issue where it locks up and the gun just won't charge or won't fire, which really sucked. And coming up now, and this one kind of sucks because it was a really fun thing to sort of exploit and use in the game, but they fixed the issue where blessings would be active even if the weapon was not being wielded. So this is like Shred and Crucian Roulette, where you used to be able to take that bonus from the ranged weapon into the melee weapon, and that's all gone now, which kind of sucks. Another great thing to see here is that they're fixing the brain burst targeting, which is big because there's been a huge issue with this not being able to work through certain like chain link fences, gaps between cover, or even just railings that you can usually just shoot and see right through. Good to see that because that's been a real point of irritation for me on the Psyker. They've also noted that they're fixing the Skullbreaker's feet. They don't really go into which ones, but there was quite a few of them that were broken. So here's hoping that the Ogren is fully up and running as it's supposed to be. Next is that they fixed the issue where toughness regen curios would only give the bonus to toughness regen delay as opposed to, you know, the actual speed that you regenerate it. This is possibly a massive buff to that particular perk on curios. I've already been stockpiling this, so I'm very interested to see how powerful this is. I like this change a lot. And then speaking of toughness regeneration they fixed an issue where enemies within, enemies without wasn't generating toughness while you're disabled. This means by like a dog or by a trapper, more so a trapper because you're taking damage if you're hit by a dog. And then one thing that I'm particularly fond of, and I know I might get some hate for having done this, especially in some of my videos where I've actually kind of like talked negatively about the cosmetics, but I have a lot of the cosmetics and there is a lot of clipping and deformation issues with these. They've noted that they fixed a lot of these. I don't think they've probably gotten them all because it says various. I'm just assuming they've gotten some of the most egregious examples, but thank God they're going back and doing a pass on those to fix the problems that they had, because after all, they're not the cheapest skins in the world, so it's nice to have them working as intended. And finally, they have fixed an issue where being suppressed by an enemy that's not actively shooting you, so you're not taking damage from them, was, you know, suppressing you, causing issues with you being able to aim and stuff like that. This was a particularly bad issue when a Reaper was just laying bullets into a wall that was like maybe a good couple of meters away from you, but was just piling on suppression so much so that you couldn't even move. And that was really everything I wanted to bring you. This is what I consider the highlight of the patch notes, though. I strongly recommend you go and check this thing out in writing. There's probably well over 100 changes in here. Granted, most of them are just small bug fixes. Nothing is changing the way the game works, unfortunately. No new content, no new shop, no new nothing, right? No new crafting. However, if you want a little bit more information on that, then there is the open letter to the community that they released earlier today as well. You can check that out. It has some somewhat vague explanation as what they're going to be doing moving forward. But unfortunately, that is all the information that we have at the moment. So, you know, there's not much else to be added to that. If you enjoyed the video, if you like the way I broke it down, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more Darktide content, as well as checking out my Twitch, which is down in the description below. I think I have a date for when I'm going to start. I think it's going to be the 5th of February. I know it's quite far away, but I'm still just waiting on deliveries to arrive so I can actually set up a streaming setup. But once that's done, we're going to start doing that on a near daily basis. We'll get into the swing of that and talk more about that closer to the time. But yeah, for now, I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Peace.